So likewise, you can look at it in terms of value. The value, the kind of quality, value of what we bought in 10 naira before, at the rate of 10 naira before, is not the same as what we buy now, currently, with that rate of 10 naira. With that rate of 10 naira. So, which means if you are comparing any product, any commodity in terms of value, what you are trying to do is what? You are trying to do that of what? Price index number. So the price relative, which we represent as BR, we represent it as BR, is the ratio of the value of the output of a goods or service. The ratio of the value, please remember the word ratio is very important there, and the ratio of what? Value, because we are dealing with value. We are using value to make reference. So the ratio of the value of the output of a good or services. That is, when we are looking at the value, we either look in terms of goods, value of these goods are depreciated, the value of the service we got from them is also depreciated, has been depreciated. So the ratio of the value of the output of a goods or service in a given year to the value of the output of the same goods or service in the base year. Please remember, it must be the same commodity, it must be the same service. You can't compare garri with that of semo. Yes, they have performed the same something, but now we want to what we are comparing must have the same quality. It must be the same thing. So, to do this, the value of output, which is represented by V, is the price per unit. The value of output, which is represented by V, is the price per unit multiplied by quantity. That is, our V here, you can obtain our V as quantity times or price. Let's put price times quantity, meaning that our V is PQ. We want to know the value of something. To calculate the value, we first of all, to calculate our V, we first of all multiply the price of that commodity times the quantity. You can see, like I've told you, if you go to any petrol station now with your 2,000 naira, you can expect even a full of Coke bottle. And when you use that 2,000 naira, as at last 3 years, you know the quantity of petrol you will get. Because even the mineral we drink is also reduced in value and quantity in some cases. But if the quantity is still the same, you see the value drop. So that's what I'm saying. I said to calculate our V is we multiply our P, which is the price, times the quantity. To demonstrate this relationship, let us assume that in the year 2000, it's just an assumption. Let's assume that in the year 2000, assuming, or let me put it like this, assuming in the year 2005, in the year 2005, 10 bags of rice cost 20 naira per bag. You might be wondering that what this man is saying. Yes, if you can ask our parents, they will tell you that during their own time, the bag of rice is or even less than this amount. It's just an assumption. Well, anyway, I've told you that assuming in the year 2005, the year 2005, almost 16 years back, yes, it's possible. I could remember the amount I obtained my own JAMB form and that of GCE compared to the amount they are selling it now. So now the bag of rice costs 20 naira per bag, while in the year 2008, 5 bags cost 25 naira per bag. Then the question is determine the value relative. Determine the value relative. VR of the product of the two commodity of the commodity. The value, we want to look at it in terms of value now, not in terms of price or quantity. Okay, to do this, I've told you when you mention value relative, the first thing that will come to your mind is this, using this formula, which is equals to value relative. I've told you when you measure value, it will be Pn of Qn over P0 of Q0. You can see which mean value relative is the combination of quantity and that of the price. For the price, you can see we use P, and for the quantity we use the then times what? 100 over 1. Remember, it's always expressed in terms of what? 100. So if you look at what the information given to us, we are comparing, which means our base year is 2005 and our current year is what? 2008. Our current year is 2008. So we have our base year, we have our current year. So let's quickly look at this. If you look at our PN, the PN in this case is what? The PN in this case is 25 naira. And our QN in this case is what? Our QN is 5. Our QN is 5. If you look at this, in 2008, 5, that's our QN is 5. Likewise, we have our PN, P0, in that time is 20 naira, and our Q0 is what? We have how many bags that we bought that time? We have 10. We have 10. So you can see, we have 10. So to find this, so it means our VR will now be 25 times 5 over 20 times 10. Then everything 100 over 1. Everything 100 over 1. If you use your calculator very well, you will realize that this one will give you 162.50%. 162.50%. And I told you you have to remove 100 from this. It means the price gone up. This price gone up with 62.5%. That is our relative price, value relative of between 2005 and that of 2008 is 62.5. So you can interpret it that the basket of rice, which is the 10 bag of rice at that time, which was sold at the rate of 20,000 naira and 20 naira, and that of 2008, which was sold at the rate of 25 naira. Their relative value is gone up by 62.5%. Yes, I hope we are in order. We are in order. I know this one is very, very easy, and I pray that it will be easy for us as we make one in other courses. Okay, doing this, let's quickly look at another. I've told you what we are going to cover under this topic, our index number. We have seen how to calculate the price relative. We've seen how to calculate the quantity relative, and we've looked at value relative, and we are now moving to method of calculating what? Index number. What we have been doing is just a general method. So we're going to look at different methods. I can ask you in an exam, or you may be asked in an exam to use method. And a different method or stipulate method to be used for the calculation. So the first method, that is method of calculating index number. Method of calculating index numbers. The first one is called simple aggregate method. Price index, or you can call it simple aggregate method of quantity index. It depends on the index you are asked to find. So I can use simple aggregate to do that of price, and I can use it for calculating quantity. So the definition of simple aggregate is still the same. But in this case, now we aggregate. It will be only one item in this case. Now, that's why we call it aggregate. So simple aggregate price index is the ratio, still the same ratio, of the total commodity prices in the given period to the total commodity prices in the base period. Can see it does, the word that changed there is total, because we are using the word aggregate. Unlike the other one, it's just one quantity we are considering. But here now we are considering what? Many. That is why we use the total commodity, the ratio of the total commodity, the value, that of the current year, all over that of the base year. So, and you can express this. So you just write simple. You can aggregate the aggregate as this is equals to, we said PI. Remember, in this case, we want to look at price index. So we are using the method of simple aggregate price index. And we said it is summation, the aggregate means summation of the price of the current year, and this sign means summation, that is the total. If you don't know this is called sigma. We call this thing sigma. We call this sigma in mathematics, sigma, and it refers to total. The word total in your secondary school, but now we use a symbol. We call it sigma, then times 100 over 1. So you can see it's still the same thing, like what we have been saying, what we have been doing, but now we're just looking at the method we can use to do this again. So, and it is similar, we have a similar formula if it is that of the quantity, that is simple aggregate quantities index. Simple aggregate quantity index. So in that case we have simple aggregate then quantity index, which is equals to summation of our quantity over quantity of the current year, then summation of the base year times 100 over 1. You see, still the same thing. We don't have to bother ourselves, very easy. It's what we can quickly do even without opening our eye. Okay, let's look at an example. Let's look at an example of what we have been trying to say concerning our calculation, method of calculation using simple aggregate. Method of calculation using simple aggregate. Example. You see, as if you look at the following strictly the lecture note given to you, so that I can make things easy. It's still the same. Don't look at it that okay, this man makes it easy here. Maybe it will be difficult in the textbook. No, it's the same. It's the same, and that's the essence of the lecture, so that things can be easy for students. We have to make things easy for us to do. This is the way the white men think. So let's look at this example. The prices and quantity. Prices and quantities of some selected food items are given below. That is, don't below. But we think that this man loves food. Yes, I don't think that there is any one of us that did not love food. So I'm using food because I love food. So this is the item. We have the unit of the item. The unit of the item. So I have 2,000. There are 2,000 here, and I have here 2,000. You get with me that we are not dealing with only one item now. Two different items. So we are in this case. We have the first one we have done. Those that we have done, we have only given information about price in terms of price relative, and we are giving information about quantity in terms of quantity relative. But in this case now, we have both. So which means we are doing what? Value relative. But we want to make use of aggregate method. So we have milk. The milk. 1 unit of tin of milk, as at that time, this is quantity. This is quantity, and this is our price. Let's use Q0 because that's the base here. Then we have Q0 for this. Then we have our quantity again. We have our quantity QT, so QN, and we have the price for our base year, our current year. So the price of milk, 1 tin of milk costs 1,000 naira, and for 1,000 quantity, they bought this at the rate of 400 naira. And for 2,000 quantity in 2009, it was bought at the rate of 600. Then we have our maize. One bag of maize costs 600, and the quantity is 600, sold at the rate of 1,000, and 8,000 or 800 sold at the rate of 1,200. Here we have meat. Another item, we have 1 kilo of meat. The quantity is 2,000 kilo that the man bought, and it was sold at the rate of 800. Then he bought 2,200 kilo here, sold at the rate of this. So, like I've said, he said the simple aggregate. Aggregate means total. So, for you to work, when you're doing your calculation, just try to sum up the quantity. You are interested in the quantity and the price only. Forget about the unit. So, if you sum up this, you will see that it gives us 3,600, and this one will give us 2,200. Then, here we have 5,000, and here we have 2,700. So, this is just what we need to carry out our calculation. I hope it's very, very easy to do simple mathematics or your calculation, arithmetic calculation. So, the first thing we want to do is find. My question now is find the price index, and as well as what? Quantity index. Find the price index and quantity index. These are the two questions. You can also equally use it to find out of the value relative. So under value relative, just multiply the quantity and the price together. That will be left for you to do as a practice. Okay, let's see. The first thing is aggregate. Simple aggregate, like I've told you, simple aggregate price index, and that will be equals to summation of the P in 2009 all over summation of the P in 2008. You can as well use Pn and Pz. They can as well use the same this expression when for those that we have solved before all over this. So if you look at this, just look, we are dealing with prices. So if you look at that price now, for 2009, the price is what? 2,700. So this is equals to 2,700. You are not going to put the summation because we've already added them together. Adding this together is what we refer to as summation. Are you with me? So 2007 all over that of the 2008, the price of this is 2,200, then times 100. If you do this, you realize that we have 122.73%. 122.73%. So this implies that this thing gone up with, if you remove this from 100, you see the increase is 22.73. That is the price relative. Price index. There is an increase of 22.73 between 2008 and that of 2009. So you can as well look at that of the quantity using this. the quantity. So we have simple aggregate for quantity index. So which is in terms of Q 2009 over summation of Q 2008 then times 100 over 1 times 100 over 1. And if you go by what you have, in 2009 we have 5,000 of the quantity bought. So this one will now be equals to 5,000 over that of the 2008 is 3,600 then times 100 over 1. And that will give us 138.89%. So which we have 38.89 increment. See, very easy thing. Very easy thing. So I pray that God will make it more easier for us than this. So we have the advantage and disadvantage of this method. You can see, if you look at the first as an advantage of aggregate method, it means it is easy to interpret and understand. You go by it with what you have done, very easy to interpret and very easy to understand. The second one is the calculation does not take too much time. I mean, you bear with me. Look at the time we use to solve this. And the third one, it is relatively easy and simple to calculate. I don't believe even secondary school children can disprove this fact, the advantage. But there's nothing with advantage and without disadvantage. Let's look at the disadvantage of this method. The disadvantage first is that it fails to take into consideration the relative importance of item, as there are no way assigned to the price or quantity. So this thing does not take into consideration the relative importance of the item. Well, that means it's important to this because no weight of importance is attached to these items. So we don't know which one is important to the buyer or to the user. 2. The value of the index is affected by the particular unit in which the item are measured. This thing is affected by the particular in the unit it was measured. So you can see this one is measured in baht. We don't know the size of that thing, but this one is baht. This one is in kilo. So this is a disadvantage, because they are not measured in the same measurement. So it's a big disadvantage. So this, what we're saying is that when you want to use simple aggregate, we have the advantage, very easy to calculate, simple to operate, but when you talk of disadvantage, it does not take into consideration the relative importance of the commodity that we want to we are considering. So another method is called weighted aggregate method. Weighted aggregate method. Weighted aggregate method. Remember, we are still dealing with method of calculating index. Method of calculating index. So once we have seen the first method, we want to see the second method. We want to see the second method. So we have different methods. Like I've said, I may ask you use a particular method. So if you don't use that method, it's already no score for that. Remember our topic there, we said it's what? Method